Cool. Let's do the next one. When a new mentor is joining Hack Your Future, I want to be able to send them an invitation via email so they can easily set up an account and have the correct privileges assigned from day one. So that's the same as the previous one, just with a mentor. So what we just agreed was that the students are invited from here and the mentors are invited from here. So the mentors don't have a class because we have all this assignment system for that. So we don't need to care about that. And I'm thinking if we add someone from the add mentor button, then they automatically have like mentor privileges.
Yeah, that would be great.
And then I'm kind of like, so I don't know what we do with the admin user, if it's just like a mentor and then we can go in the database and set an is admin flag or something like that, just to keep it really simple.
Yeah, for the
Something
time
like
being,
that.
just keep it simple.
Yeah.
We can add all the logic like
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah. So any questions about that one?
No.
Yeah.
So we're going to finish the class in Danish, or when I'm planning an event, I want to be able to add it in a shared Google Calendar and have it show up in Hyper Copenhagen, so I don't have to input the same data multiple times. So this is about events.
And we're not 100% sure whether we are using this Google Calendar or not. What do you think?
Well, yeah. So this story is specifically in for exporting to Google Calendar. Yes.
Yeah.
So if we choose that, that's not something we want to deal with in the beginning. Then it's a nice to have. I don't know if it would make sense to have. Probably would, but let's just see what it is in the UI. So it is up here. There we have it. So down here we have events. So if someone chooses to do a workshop or something like that, it can be added as an event. And I guess we could have that kind of data in our application without exporting it to the calendar. Because the idea about the application is it's kind of like the first point of entry for all the students.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be so much nicer to have these things in the calendar, right? And I don't think.
But last time
like,
we realized that there is no export, so-called export in Google Calendar. Yeah.
No, but But we could still build events via the API, right? Yeah. So that's what I imagine doing here. It's true that the export buttons are kind of deprecated as well. It's just because I'm not entirely sure what to do with that right now.
Yeah.
So don't worry so much about the export buttons, but the task is about building this little thing that sits down here and having that be synchronized with a Google Calendar. Actually have it be synchronized with multiple Google Calendars, because there's one specifically for mentors, and there's one for alumni, and there's one for students. Huh?
You should just know that. Just notice TypeScript.
What?
No, it's just like a comment, like TypeScript introduction.
There's a Super Collider introduction as well.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
Collider function.
Yeah. Any questions about that one? Cool.
Very nice.
When a class has been added and has modules added, I want to be able to see those modules so I can get an overview of modules for a specific class. So that is just like having the modules here within the class. And I would say that this one also involves like doing something calendar-ish, so we can of course see which weeks they line up with and stuff like that. And as we discussed earlier, I imagine that this is kind of like a table view. I don't know if there will be some dashed lines or something like that going down, so you can trace it back. So this one is week 3 for this one down here as well. But that's like details in terms of like how the UI is designed. This is more like just like overall.
And
Another option could just be to repeat the weeks for each of the classes, but
from the component point of view, we might create one component so that it can reuse in both places actually.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this view we have here, of course, that's exactly the same for admins.
Yeah.
So actually, if this is so actually here for students you only see one class, right? And here is just the same module repeated, and there's like the timeline goes again here, but then there's some other things that are different. So it has some resemblances and then some things that are not. So that's up to you to figure out how much can you componentize these things. When I'm planning an event, I want to be able to create it by typing a command in Slack containing the name and scheduling details for the event, so I can quickly share a spontaneous event when Slack participants decides to meet up. Yeah. So the idea is you go on Slack and then you type something like /events, and then you type Super Collider workshop, and then you type January 5th, 1900 or something like that, and then this event is created automatically. Questions? When I'm about to see Haifa Copenhagen for the first time, I want to be able to register using my Google account to ensure fast registration and integration with my calendar. Yeah? More or less. So I hope there's not too many questions about that. When I visit Haifa Copenhagen as a repeating user, I want to sign in using my Google password to make it easier to remember my password. So it's just like detailing that when you come back and you have already signed in, it will remember your user, and you only need to use your Google password. Or maybe it'll even remember it. Huh?
Password already does that automatically, so also done.
Exactly, yeah, that's one thing, yeah. When I have registered on Haifa Copenhagen, I want to see my avatar picture be reused from Google accounts, so I don't have to upload it multiple times.
Yeah.
I guess that's the same case, right?
Oh,
Or
if you
do you
change
need
it
to
on
do
Google, you'll have to update the database, so
Okay.
not quite.
Yeah.
The picture you already have when you register would be automatically, but if you change it on Google, you won't change it on that,
Okay.
so you'll have to do some requests each time, so that's not.
So is it
done
kind
yet.
of GET request or what kind of request it expecting?
Depends on how you want to do it. If each time you log in, you want to check if the picture's changed or the data has changed, just in case.
That's gonna expense.
Exactly. So depends on how you want to do it.
Just a comment on this. What I saw is that no one basically had a profile picture in the Google account.
I do.
I do.
Okay.
I do as well.
I know.
That's the information I was taking. It's just like the initial letter, so like the standard thing. Don't give it that much importance. What I'm saying.
But it's a good point, because that means that maybe we need to have some feature that overrides that in some way, so you can upload a picture locally.
There's some power.
Yeah. But let's. Well, I can add it to the list here.
What's called? It will first time you register add your current profile picture. It's just adding some logic
I know.
to update.
Yeah.
You could do it on each check if you're logged in. Like when the client checks if you are you, you can check the data.
You can do a check and see if it's updated.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you could just like have a feature where you go into your profile and you say update picture.
Exactly.
So,
It's not, it wouldn't be a lot, but it's not already done.
yeah. Cool. When I receive a request to teach, I want to see a notification in my online calendar so I can respond quickly. Yeah. Any questions about that one? When I want to accept an invite to teach, I want to be able to do it directly from my calendar app to simplify, I guess it should say, the scheduling. So that's just seeing the notification, and this is responding to the notification. It's maybe.
I'm the only one thinking that's going to be a little bit tricky to implement. No?
Well, we saw last time that we had the data in the Google API.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of setting up a calendar invitee via the API, so it comes out as a event with attendees, and then those attendees will get the email automatically from Google, where they can press yes or no, and then we can go and look up in the API again, and then we can see if they responded. But I guess we need to have like some sort of schedule calls to the Google API. That's probably the tricky part.
How we are gonna? I mean, each time someone accepts.
Yeah. How will we know that?
Make, like, a new request somehow. Or?
Yeah, I guess we need. So to do that, we probably need to have a batch job running in the background that kind of like updates every few minutes to check.
I see.
Probably a complicating factor.
Okay.
But I think that's probably how I would do it. Yeah. Yeah. When I'm trying to figure out what modules to attend, I want to see a list of modules specific to the classes I'm participating in, so I can get an overview of what my next module is. So this is probably mostly for, I don't know if it's more for students or mentors, but so students who just signed up, they need to have a list of the modules. It's kind of like it overlaps because we did have something about that before, right? Oh, so this is actually related to the detail view, being able to see the details, I think. Let's read it again.
I have a question.
Yeah. No, it's not the detail view, it's still a list, yeah.
So I was just thinking that now what we talked about so far is that the admin should assign a mentor, basically invite a mentor to a class. What about like reversed? Like, can the mentor just see what are the available modules that they need mentor, and then they say sign up?
No. I mean, I get your point, but
yeah.
You keep adding functionality that is not strictly necessary.
But it's a good idea for a future because that's definitely something that happens. I mean, like I told Christopher, like, you know, I didn't teach the last final project, and that was because I wanted to do something else. So I told Christopher that I wanted to teach the HTML class because it's always fun to teach a class that's just started because there's a lot of energy and stuff like that. Not saying there's not a lot of energy here,
What are you talking about?
But that's definitely something that happens. That mentors come to Christopher as well and say, hey, I'd like to teach this class next time it's up, or maybe like, yeah, so I have like a hole in my schedule for a month or something like that. So it'd be really cool if they could go and fill that out themselves. But I think for now we'll probably have to deal with that offline.
But it will be an idea for the future.
Yeah. Okay, honestly, I'm not sure. Let's try to find the other story that looked like this one. This one, I think. When a class has been added and has modules added, I want to be able to see those modules so I can get an overview of modules. How is that different from when I'm trying to figure out what modules to attend? I want to see a list of modules specific to the classes I'm participating in, so I can get an overview of what my next module is. Oh, what my next module is. Yeah. So the difference is, I still overview.
Well,
Isn't just phrased differently.
yeah, it's the
Yeah, I
problem
think
is-
it is pretty much the same.
But maybe implementer wants to prepare for the next module or something like that.
Yeah, but this one up here also says get an overview of modules for a specific class. So that's all the modules in the class.
Yeah.
So I think the other one is just like a little more detailed, but maybe also a little more difficult to understand. So I think let's stick with the first one. So I'll just like mark this one as irrelevant somehow.
Wait, isn't one all of your modules in general, and the other is classes specific?
Ah. Yeah, so this one has a plural in there, and that's intended for the mentors who might be participating in more than one class. Yeah, I think this one needs some rewording then. But let's turn this story into being a story specifically for when you are assigned with multiple classes, then you can see everything at once. Okay? So vote on it based on that, and then I'll put a note. Let's. Do you spell rephrase like this? Phrase?
CH.
Ah, that's why. Okay. When I'm trying to figure out the contents of my next module/session, I want to see description and links pulled directly from GitHub, so I can glance over the information directly from the application and go to GitHub for more details. Yeah, it's again there's some duplication here, but there's also like the idea of having links to GitHub, so you can go there and find more. So I think you should vote on the previous story based on just like pulling descriptions in, and this story is about like sending people there for more information. So it's kind of like show more.
Okay.
But same story, this one needs rephrasing. I like the fact that now you're going to vote on the ones that you like, and then I go home and change them. When I'm joining Hack Your Future and I'm still learning my way around, I want to find a link directly to my class Slack channel. So the Haifa Copenhagen app will serve as a single point of entry for new students and mentors. I don't even remember if I have that in there.
What? Just include a Slack.
Yeah, it's just a link to the Slack channel.
Okay.
So that's something that would be specific for each class, of course. So that I guess that would have to be added down here. Add class, enter name, enter Slack channel handle.
Add one field in that case.
Yeah, if we want to build it. So
I'm gonna be honest with this. I don't even think it's nice to have.
yeah,
There's
So-
no other option.
you only have nice to have as an option.
Okay.
Or you could say I don't know, but I guess that's
Do I have that option?
yeah, you have the middle one,
I don't
but
know,
but I think I thought of that as being like
yeah, maybe, yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. So
nice
so if you think it should definitely be excluded, you need to vote it as nice to have.
Mm.
I thought about like doing a fourth option that
I-
don't do this at all or something like that, but
but Jackie,
Hmm?
can you I don't know what's the plan for the code review, like the available code we have,
Mhm.
at least from the Morpho and
yeah.
the team. Can we just make a pause here and
Mhm.
leave it for some homework and see and vote later? What do you think? I don't know.
Yeah, just worried that then we'll end up not getting any further with this one again.
Okay.
But what
We
do you
only
want?
3 points to
we have only
how many we have
One, two.
left?
3.
Like
Right.
three.
Only
What?
3?
Okay, but what do you want to resolve?
left,
Resolve
right?
some what is called git commit, git push, this
Okay.
Yeah.
stuff that they are struggling with.
Okay, so I just want to help them with that. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's do that after.
I thought we are voting here.
We're voting here or
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, I was.
Here.
You should always follow it when there's vote.
Yeah.
Oh, here I thought you.
Oh, we have only 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two. One of them is two of them is the same.
Oh, again.
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay, when I'm about to attend a class, I want to see an overview of who is teaching that particular and future sessions so I can contact them with questions.
The real same.
So this part is being able to see mentors' faces here,
Okay.
and that's relevance for students who may want to know if who's teaching their next class, so they can maybe ask questions. And it's also very relevant for mentors because sometimes it can be confusing if you have like one guy for the first session and another one for the next session and need to coordinate things. So yeah. Yes, and then it's repeated. So
if you vote nice to have and need to
Okay.
have, you will see the middle.
when there's an upcoming event relevant to me, I want to be able to see it in Hyper Copenhagen as to not miss out on important events. It's also kind of duplicated. There's a lot of duplication in there. I guess there's the part about being relevant to me. So let's just kill that one.
No.
Because it's just like the fact that there's an alumni calendar and student and a mentor calendar, right? So I don't know if we should use this wording or the wording from the previous one, but
Isn't it basically just if you want to filter out the ones that's not relevant, you filter out?
Huh?
Isn't the difference that you want to filter out what's relevant to you and what's not?
oh,
It's not
yeah.
like a huge.
No.
dramatic code.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's a tiny change.
Mm.
Cool. So how many have not voted yet?
I submitted.
You submitted and everything? Awesome. Fantastic.
I did too.
So let's do 5 minutes, and then I'll have a chance to run through them, and you have a chance to run through them, and then we'll have a look at the results.
Is it anonymous?
It's anonymous.
It is.
I think so. I haven't tested it yet.
But
Don't
my
worry.
IP is
There is nothing personal, so don't worry.